Hello and welcome. My name is Stacy and I am the Scholarship and Education Program Manager at the GSBA. This presentation today should give you an overview of the scholarship and the application process. We know college is expensive and our scholarship is here to help. So who are we? Well, the GSBA was established in 1981 and is the largest LGBTQ+ and allied chamber in North America. What that means is we represent over 1,300 small business, corporate, and nonprofit members who all share the values of promoting equality and diversity in the workplace. And where the scholarship fits is in philanthropy. The GSBA Scholarship Fund provides educational scholarships to LGBTQ+ and allied students, specifically from Washington State. And these scholarships can be used at any accredited post-secondary institution in the world. So where can you use it? As you can see, you are not limited to what post-secondary means. That can be your traditional four-year university. It could be private. It could be public. It could be community. It could be technical. When we say accredited, an easy way to look that up is just to go to Google. On collegesanddegrees.com, you can look up college profiles and see to make sure your program is accredited. Most larger institutions are. And at GSBA, what makes our scholarship unique is that it is a continuation. Once awarded, it is awarded to up to 4 years of undergraduate funding. We also partner with Pride Foundation. Pride Foundation hosts our scholarship application, and once you fill out that application, then they are reviewed separately and can be eligible for multiple scholarships beyond just GSBA. Many of our GSBA scholars also receive scholarships from Pride Foundation. To be eligible for the GSBA scholarship does not require a specific GPA. Residency is Washington, no matter your citizenship. What does that mean? That means that you either reside in Washington State now, or you have resided in Washington State more than a year in the 5 years prior to applying. We do not check U.S. citizenship status, and we do not ask for a social security number. Do use the name and gender you identify with on the application, and accommodations are available as needed. If you are experiencing any language or technology barriers in accessing this application, please do reach out for assistance. What does the GSBA scholarship cover? In our case, it covers tuition, course fees, and any expenses handled through your student account. For example, housing, meal plans, anything purchased through a bookstore. Scholarship checks for the GSBA are sent directly to your college or university and are applied to any expenses that are processed through that student account. When applying for the GSBA scholarship, you will find yourself on this page. It will say Pride Foundation and GSBA, and you do create an account to be able to access the application. What's great about creating that account is then you can go back and return to the application at any time before deadline. Once you've created your account, you will see that it's a pretty long list of questions, sections of questions that you will be asked. For the most part, it's pretty easy stuff, and you'll be able to answer those questions pretty quickly. Where you really want to focus your time and energy are on the essay questions found in the middle of this application process. In this part of the application process, there are 3 essays: a personal statement, one focused on your community involvement, and one inquiring on your financial circumstances. For these essay questions, you may create a written response, or you may record a video response. Videos can be up to 5 minutes, so you'll definitely want to rehearse it to be ready. You can upload those videos onto YouTube or the Google Drive, and then just paste a link to your video in replacement of that written response in the essay field. For the personal statement, you're really telling us your journey, really introducing us to who you are. And this is a 2-part question. The first part of your essay should address your successes, your challenges, and who and what has been there for you during both the success and the challenge in your life. Here is an example of how to address this question. What our example does here is gives us insight to the scholar as a person, the struggle and the success. It also has a clear narrative line. We can see how we began in this struggle or this challenge and where the scholar ended up at the end of this journey. Those 2 key pieces are really important to showing us who you are. The second part of a personal statement is talking on how you are as a student. Why are you pursuing additional education? How will this pursuit really expand your skills? And how will you take these pursuits into the world to impact change? In this example, the scholar gives us some context of where they started in this journey to get to the career path they would like to have. They also give us a very specific goal, and they know what they want to do once they've achieved that goal. It's okay if you haven't figured out your major. Having a good idea of what interests you, possibilities of things that you may study, and how those areas of study could create impact or turn into something that is of interest of you is okay too. Personal statements are pretty common in most scholarship applications. Once you've really written out that journey, hold on to it, save it. It will probably come in handy for many scholarship applications in your future. The next essay question you will answer is community involvement. For the GSBA scholarship, we are looking specifically for what your involvement has been in the LGBTQ+ community. Describe how you have shown your leadership on an issue affecting LGBTQ+ folks, and how you will actively serve as an LGBTQ+ or allied leader within your community post-graduation. Here's an example of community involvement. And what I would like to point out in this example is that the journey is ongoing. Don't worry if you haven't volunteered for every club and you haven't shown up for every opportunity to march or protest or speak up. To know what limitations there have been in your involvement and to have a vision of where you can go in your involvement is really what we're looking for. For this scholar, They did not have opportunity to be really active in the community. It wasn't something that was supported at home. However, they have a clear vision on how this journey will change as they are able to come out into the community and become more involved. Another aspect of the community involvement essay question is focusing on a specific issue. Do you identify an issue that you feel passionate about and a space in which you know you want to enact change? In this scholar's case, they set the stage for how they identified that specific issue and then how they would like to tackle it into the future. The final question will ask of your financial circumstances. What are your needs? What are the costs? Do you have other responsibilities outside of tuition? And what is your strategy for funding your education overall? If you have any debt, medical bills, any barriers to earning an income, or other family members to support, this is really important for us to know at this stage of the application. If you know the numbers, use them. If you know how much tuition, housing, outside of GSBA, what other financial awards you have been given, crunch those numbers for us and outline it as clearly as you can. Even if you do not have the numbers, you can still highlight your financial need. Here's an example of a scholar not knowing exactly how much their tuition will cost, but also able to illustrate how that financial need is pretty great. By giving us that story, we can see that a scholarship would only benefit this scholar. When writing these essays, you want to tell us a genuine story. Remember that the purpose of this essay is to convince scholarship reviewers that you're the student they've been looking for. By telling personal stories from your own unique point of view, you'll show us the passion you have to go out into the post-secondary world and to enact change. Many of these questions have two parts. Be careful and make sure that you've answered them both. For example, in the journey question, that personal journey, we want to know not only what your successes and challenges are, but we also want to know what you plan to do with your education into the future. You should have a paragraph for each. And get organized before you write. Having an outline of what you want to say will make sure that you don't forget anything that would be important for reviewers to know. I would also suggest having another person read over those essays. Even in my examples, you may have noticed those folks had a few errors. Anything you can do to eliminate small errors to make sure that your story is crystal clear is only going to benefit you. Another area of the application that will require a little research is under geographic. It will give the statement, I grew up in or currently live in a rural area. The best way to determine this is a Google search. I just went into Google and looked up population density by county in Washington state. And I was able to find some maps that were able to assist me in answering this question. As you can see, anyone living in King, Pierce, Thurston, Kitsap, Snohomish, Spokane, or Clark counties are not in rural areas? A little research will make this question a lot easier. Other required application materials are an academic transcript and a resume. Why transcripts? I will say that we know grades are only one piece of your academic journey, and they do not give us the full picture of your skills or motivations. Do not let any doubts about your GPA stop you from continuing this application. Even a few bad grades is not a barrier to an award. All transcripts do is give our reviewers more information about the coursework you've completed thus far. Students who have taken difficult courses will be noted, no matter what those grades were. If you would like to add more information about your transcript, please use the additional information space found under the scholarship criteria follow-up. It is one of the last questions you'll find in the application. That is the space in which we would need to know that you were taking a difficult course that challenged you, or that there was some interference in your ability to focus and complete the work during that time in your life. Resumes are also great spaces to highlight any paid work or volunteer work that you have participated in, any specialized trainings, objective statements, or transferable skills that you would bring to any role in which you pursued. There's two ways that you can highlight your volunteer work. It can either be a list of opportunities, as you can see in my top box under volunteer experience, or if the volunteer work was more extensive, go ahead and break it out into its own line and its own space. Resumes are also great for highlighting your objective. Where do you want to go from here? For example, this scholar is a goal-centered engineering student with confident leadership skills currently attending the University of Washington, ready to apply strong creative problem solving to their next opportunity. Resumes are also a great place to illustrate transferable skills. No matter what your work history, you have learned skills along the way. What are the strengths that you have that you believe are important to highlight for everyone? That can be time management, that can be interpersonal communication, it can be a language. There's a lot of skills that folks are looking for. Make sure you put them on your resume. Though not required, there are optional materials that can strengthen a scholarship application. One is a letter of recommendation. For a Pride Foundation, if you would like to be considered for a visual arts, design, or a music scholarship, you do need to upload samples of your work. Sometimes a portfolio will also be required if you are interviewed after the application has been turned in. To apply for the GSBA scholarship is on our website. Everything, including transcripts, letters of recommendation, and illustrations of your art, would be uploaded online. The application is open now and closes on Friday, January 13th. All applications are reviewed January through March, and applicants are contacted by the end of March. If selected for an interview, that interview will take place in April, with awards announced in May. Applications must be submitted by Friday, January 13th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That goes for the GSBA scholarship and Pride Foundation. To be fair to all applicants, we are very strict on this application due date, and we do not accept late applications or materials under any circumstance. If you are experiencing any barrier to the application, we do need to hear from you prior to January 13th. A few final tips. Do use an email address you check regularly. It is how we will communicate with you throughout the application process. You do not have to finish your application all at once. You can start and save as you go along. Just make sure you do hit submit before January 13th. And I highly recommend having someone review your materials before you submit. Oftentimes, they can catch the little errors that you didn't see as you were writing about your journey. I hope you have found this overview helpful. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to the GSBA Scholarship Fund. My name is Stacy, and I'd be happy to help. Thank you.